Our mission as an organization is to represent the pro-life viewpoint locally, to make sure that the pro-choice viewpoint does not simply get expressed unopposed, but to fight back against it with compelling and intelligent, reasonable and charitable argumentation to represent our side as best we possibly can.
We wanted to reach the young generation by exposing them to the value of human life, and a way of doing that is by reading books that talk about the development of the baby in the womb, and they begin to understand that there is life before birth.
One of our goals here at Right to Life is to engage with our community and talk about pro-life issues. You can find us at many community events throughout the year, including the Central California Women's Conference, the Latina Women's Conference, the Girls World Expo, the Diocesan Congress, both the Madera and Fresno fairs, and local harvest festivals.
Each year we host several free educational events, as well as we do a lot of sidewalk counseling and presentations. We have a lot of activity going on throughout the year.
My name is John Girardi. I'm the Executive Director of Right to Life of Central California. As part of my work, I try to do my best to represent the pro-life position locally within our community, and I do this in a number of different fora and different ways. One of the chief things we do that provides educational resources to our community is through our radio show. I and my friend Jonathan Keller from California Family Council host every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. on Power Talk 96.7 FM. We also make this available as a podcast, which you can find on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher if you just search for Right to Life Radio. And in this show, we try to focus on a number of questions of importance to the pro-life cause, news and events, looking locally at the statewide level, and also nationally what's happening in Congress and at the U.S. Supreme Court.
This was so important that it had to be the 24th bill introduced in the Senate this year.
Right.
That's how urgent it was.
The 24th out of a couple thousand. So That's how important it is. Okay, for those who don't realize what we're talking about, SB 24 is the back from the dead version of the chemical abortion on CSU and UC campuses bill. This is the bill that requires every CSU and UC student health center to provide chemical abortion. This is not the morning after pill. This is medication to artificially induce a miscarriage up to 10 weeks of pregnancy. Okay, 10 weeks of pregnancy, at which point a baby has arms, legs, fingers, toes, heartbeat, brain activity. All the kid needs is a skateboard. So this is a human being. This is an abortion. This is killing a new human organism. So, last year, the last 2 years really, this bill had been introduced as SB 320. It was actually introduced in 2017 as a 2-year bill. It didn't go anywhere in 2017. It passed the State Assembly and the State Senate in 2018 and made its way to Jerry Brown's desk. Jerry Brown vetoed it. And let's note what would have to be done. The reason why why the bill shifts the timeline for when they would start offering medication abortions only in January 1st of 2022 is because they would need to install ultrasound machines in every single CSU and UC student health center, and they would need to pay for that. So the CSU and UC student health centers don't have the apparatus to even do chemical abortions right now because they don't have ultrasound machines. You need an ultrasound machine because you need to ensure that the child is less than 10 weeks along. Because it's actually, if you have a medication abortion too late, then you can have some really serious complications. Any person who has experienced a miscarriage knows that a miscarriage is not something to be taken lightly. It can involve it can involve enormous amounts of pain. It can involve bleeding. It can involve a lot of very bad side effects. It can involve passing blood clots. It can involve, and all of these problems you associate with miscarriage, now you're artificially causing a miscarriage.
Tied to Right to Life, I'm also the CEO of Advocates for Women's Health Incorporated. This is a new corporation. It's a sub-corporation of Right to Life of Central California, which will be starting our new Obria Medical Clinic's prenatal healthcare clinic. We've been working with our national partners at the Obria Group, and we're intending to found a new prenatal healthcare clinic in the city of Fresno to serve lower-income women who are facing difficult pregnancies. This will be not just ultrasounds and pregnancy tests. This is a full prenatal healthcare clinic with STD, STI testing, well woman exams, all the patients' prenatal checkups. We're going to try to provide genuine prenatal health care, genuine help and services to these women who are facing very difficult and challenging pregnancies, to try to love both them and their baby, to help them to choose life.
Over 35% of high school women are now saying they are not having sex in high school. That is huge. Why? Because we're educating them. And why? Because, you know, in my age, you got the pill, and then you get this white piece of paper in 3-point font that you couldn't read. But today, thank God, women want knowledge. And they go on here and they read exactly what you shared. What is in that pill? And all of a sudden they're going, oh my gosh, no wonder I don't feel good. No wonder I'm sick. We have an opportunity now to change the world. I just have to have a comprehensive women's health care clinic that I can get them out of their clinic and into ours, because I promise you, if they come into an Obria clinic, they never go back. And I'm telling you, if they don't go back and we empower them and educate them to change their lives, and we introduce them to fertility education, it's empowering. When they know the beauty of their body and how they're created and how it works, it empowers them.
One of the most moving experiences we've had is actually saving a mother and baby from abortion. So probably it's almost been 2 years since then, or a little over 2 years. A woman named Jess came up to our table. She was a student on campus, and she didn't really have an opinion on abortion, but we were handing out fetal models that Right to Life had given us. And she took one, and she took one home. And just a few weeks later, she found out that she was pregnant. This was an unplanned pregnancy. She wasn't sure what to do. And she found herself in front of a Planned Parenthood counselor telling her that she needed an abortion. But she went back into her car and she found that baby fetal model that we had given her. And she changed her mind and she chose life. And then much later, a few months later, after she had her baby, her name is Eden, she actually found us out on campus again, and she became a part of the group, and now she's co-vice president of the group. And I think that is just such an amazing story, going from not having an opinion on abortion at all to being a pro-life activist and helping other pregnant and parenting students on campus to choose life, just like she once did. And that was because we were out and active on campus. And that was because we had all the support that we had from the community and from Right to Life and from Students for Life and all of these different organizations that were able to help us get out there on campus and be effective. And so it's changed a lot of our lives in a lot of different ways. A lot of us had never been involved in public policy. I was never involved in public policy. I didn't really know the process of the legislative process of getting a bill through the state. But I found myself testifying against SB 24 just a couple of months ago.
And the CSU and UC systems both state in Appropriations Committee analyses both last year and this year that the funds for SB 24 are insufficient by the millions and that the cost would likely fall to the students.
And now this student, Jess, had never imagined herself with a child going through college, but now she's in grad school and she's going through college and a pro-life activist. So there's a lot of different aspects about being involved in the pro-life movement that has just been so important to all of us that we are just so thankful for all of the support that we've gotten from the community.
In addition to this, we have a number of community outreach programs we do to help reach out to women who are considering abortion. I help run our 40 Days for Life campaign. We actually have a really exciting 40 Days for Life campaign where we have actually rented the building that's right next door to Planned Parenthood, which is sort of a center for our volunteers to gather and pray. And we've had a wonderful working relationship with Pregnancy Care Center in Fresno to provide a patient advocate who is stationed there to help bring these women to the resources and help they need as they're facing abortion, as they're immediately considering this question right outside the doors of Planned Parenthood. And we have a number of wonderful activities and events that we have throughout the year for families. Our wonderful annual Joanne Stevens Memorial Golf Tournament.
It's a great event. There's usually over 100 golfers. Many of our golfers have golfed in this tournament for over 20 years. And the committee that helps run this golf tournament is actually, they're like second generation volunteers. Their parents were volunteers at Right to Life, and now they're sort of taking over. So it really is a family event. And one of the fun things about it is the mom who helped start this event would make cheesecakes for the table, and the daughters are continuing to make the cheesecakes, which all the golfers love, at the dinner after the tournament.
Our Christmas auction every year, which is a big hit.
This year is going to be our 31st year, and it's put on each December. There's a live auction. A silent auction. Put on over at the Fresno Convention Center. We have about 100 volunteers that help us out, and many of these volunteers have been with us through the years. For example, we have different silent sections such as the Farmers Market, which showcases the amazing produce we have here in the Valley. We have a garden section. We've got jewelry, children's, men's, so it's just an amazing event, and a lot of these volunteers have come out over the years. We've kind of become family together, and everybody looks forward to pitching in each year. So hopefully, please, we'd love to have you, whether as an attendee or as a volunteer. It's a great way to kick off the Christmas season. And again, bring your family and your friends. And we even actually, to involve the kids, we have a lot of the helpers and the volunteers are students from local schools around the area that kind of help out with the sections. So please, we'd encourage you all to come.
Our pro-life story time for young kids during the summer.
We wanted to reach the young generation by exposing them to the value of human life, and a way of doing that is by reading books that talk about the development of the baby in the womb, and they begin to understand that there is life before birth. I've even had a little boy reassure me that he remembers being in the womb. They're always very shocked when I tell them that their hearts start beating at just 21 days or that their fingernails start growing. Some of our favorite books to read to them is, of course, the famous book by Dr. Seuss, Horton Hears a Who, Person is a Person No Matter How Small. We even read a book, an adoption book called A Gift for a Little Tree that explains the love we should have for one another regardless of where they come from. And we are just eternally grateful to New Covenant Community Church for letting us use their space and having our readings there in their facilities, and we hope that we get the opportunity to do this again next year.
We do host several, free educational events that are open to the public, and we have lots of resources that are available at our office. So please come to our office anytime if you're looking for information, if you want us to do a presentation to your youth group or a school or anything, just please visit us.
The most common reason that women choose to have an abortion is because they feel like it's their last option. Like, a lot of times it's not like someone who's like really happy and perky and like, oh darn, I'm pregnant. Like, okay, let me deal with that and then go on with my happy, perky, normal life, okay? Usually it's people who are facing really bad financial problems, really bad family problems. They're feeling pressured by, a boyfriend or by their parent or by parents or by really bad family situations. So they feel like I don't have anywhere to go. I'm, a lot of times it's for mothers who are really young and having a baby out of wedlock, and they just don't feel like I can do it, and they don't feel supported. And that's most of the time when people have abortions. That's why so many people who have abortions really regret it, is because they're in a really tough, difficult place, and they just don't know who to turn to. And that's what our organization tries to be, is someone to turn to, someone to provide resources for women like, hey, you know, if you're facing this problem, like, you know, here are all these ministries you can go to. You can go to Pavarello House. You can go to the Pregnancy Care Center. You can go to St. Agnes. You can go to Catholic Charities. Like, there are all these places and resources for women to go to. And, you know, basically we just want to let these women know that, hey, there are people who love you, there are people who care about you. And that's really, I think, the best thing we can possibly do. Even for people who totally disagree with me, like, I think everyone can agree that if there are women who are facing really bad problems like that, like, we should help them out and do what we can.
You can find us at many community events throughout the year, including the Central California Women's Conference, the Latina Women's Conference, the Girls World Expo, the Diocesan Congress, both the Madera and Fresno fairs, and local harvest festivals.
And we also try to help with other different pro-life events and activities. For example, we've hosted a screening of the movie Unplanned, and we often help out when pro-life movies come into the theaters to help facilitate these screenings, both in the theaters and within individual churches that wish to help out. We have a wonderful partnership, and have for a number of years had a wonderful partnership with the Roman Catholic Diocese of Fresno, and are available to present for confirmation classes, for RCIA classes, for adult catechism classes, for youth groups, for any number of fora. And if you're interested in having us come, I'd really encourage you to reach out to us at Right to Life of Central California. Have your Director of Religious Education, have your pastor reach out for us about all the ways in which we can serve you. The role of Right to Life is to serve churches, serve community organizations throughout the Valley. Our job is to serve you, to make your life easier, and to provide a benefit to your parish, to your religious education program.
During the year, we also partner with Fresno State Students for Life and assist them with any outreach that they are doing on the Fresno State campus. In the past, we have also joined them in the summer when they are out there tabling during dog days, and we have also been with them during their club fairs throughout the school year.
We have lots of different displays that we bring out, and we invite students to have a conversation about abortion, because I think it's really important to start in that direction. And also, whenever we come across a pregnant or parenting student, we want to find out how we can best help them. And Right to Life of Central California has been very important to us, because they have helped us with a lot of different things, whether it be for funding for attending the March for Life in Washington, D.C. We were able to take 5 students free of charge to Washington, D.C. for the March for Life and the Students for Life of America conference, which was just a wonderful pro-life weekend for us. And in addition to that, we were able to take 5 more students because of their donation, and it was just an amazing experience for us. We've also been able to partner with them and bring different displays to our campus, as well as be introduced to a lot of other different pro-life organizations in the area and statewide. And so they've been just instrumental in supporting us and having us get materials out to students while on campus, so that they can take that home and they can have a reminder that the pro-life view is something that is important, that needs to be considered. And in addition to that, we've done a lot of different work with other groups on campus and other groups that are within the community. And now, as Fresno Pro-Life Future, we're dedicated to educating the community about the reality of abortion. And so even though we're just getting started, we've already got a little bit of a group going, and we'll be getting that message out to the community and having a place for young adult pro-life individuals to come together and have a place to go and to share the pro-life message.
We at Right to Life also try to serve the interests of our community by being their voice and representative when it comes to questions of public policy, to advocate on behalf of our community for good legislation and against bad legislation that surrounds the topic of abortion. Most particularly this year, we have been fighting against SB 24. This is the bill that if passed, will require chemical abortion to be made available at the student health centers of every CSU and UC in California. We do various events, driving up with students, with other community supporters. We recently actually took a bus up to Sacramento to lobby against SB 24, directly meet with legislators, attend legislative hearings, and try to make our voices heard. We also write to our state legislators. We as Right to Life of Central California, regularly send in letters of support or opposition to bills of concern within the California legislature and also at the U.S. Congress.
Senate Bill 24, and what this bill would do is it would put the abortion pill, which is an abortion up to 10 weeks pregnancy, on our campuses, and the campuses would be required to distribute these pills to the students through our student health centers. And these would likely be using our student fees and taxpayer dollars to do so. Of course, this shows us that we need to have our pro-life message on campus, that we need to be seen and heard, because otherwise students are just going to be listening to the legislators and the healthcare workers and saying that they need abortion in order to be successful on campus. But we know that you can be pregnant and successful, and what a great message of support and it's so important for us to be having that message spread throughout the campus as much as possible. So we've taken several trips up to Sacramento, up to the state capitol, to lobby against this bill, to make office visits with the staffers, to show them that the pro-life generation is here and that we are not willing to back down. So we've been educating not only our community members, but the legislators and the staffers about the different aspects of the bill that are such a big concern to us. Of course, we're a pro-life group, so we're going to be against abortion no matter what it is, but we found so many different issues and we've learned so much about the legislative process simply by being involved in the pro-life movement that we've been able to have a big difference, and that we've been able to just be able to spread the pro-life message in such an effective way.
At some of our events, people have approached our volunteers and shared with them the emotional pain that they have suffered after an abortion, and our volunteers are able to share with them information about Rachel's Vineyard, which is a ministry that we support that offers retreats throughout the year to help men and women who are suffering from the pain of abortion.
My name is Ralph, and I'm 63 years old, and my wife and I, Deborah, we went to our first Rachel's Vineyard retreat back in 2003 and fell in love with it because of what it gave us. It gave us our life back. And after going through the retreat, we realized we found a home. This is where we want to be, and we want to be able to help other people that were lost through abortion, especially married couples, because it has a way of tearing families apart. If somebody said, is there anything in life that you wish you can go back on? That's what I would do. I would go back, and I would not do what I did that day. But I can't. That's just life. So it's how do you go on from here? And through Rachel's Vineyard, we found a way to carry on. You don't feel good unless you beat yourself up because you don't feel like you deserve to be happy. Look what you did. Why should I don't deserve to be happy. I aborted my child or my children. So the hardest thing about abortion, flat out, is forgiving yourself for what you've done. But it's possible. You will, and it's our cross to carry in this life. And And it's a cross to carry once you've been healed through Rachel's Vineyard, that it's a cross you can hold your head up that you carry. Jesus carried his cross for us. We have to learn through him how to carry our cross that we have.
I am a post-abortive woman, and I went to a Planned Parenthood, and back in the days when I had an abortion, which was now 38 years ago, and I walked out the back door. It was horrific. I had no medication. It was horrible, and my girlfriend said, but Kathleen, if you'd been put out and there was no pain, would you be doing what you're doing today? Probably not. I probably would have gotten back in my car. But even with that, I do have to say that I think God worked a miracle that day. Now, I had not been inside a church in 8 years. I'd walked away from my faith. I was really on the fast track to had everything that I wanted by that time. And I didn't need any of that until I walked out that back door of the abortion clinic. And I had a flat tire on my car because I had driven myself. And why they didn't give me any medication. And but it again, that was God's plan, and I had to sit on the curb, and that's when I started crying, and I reached out to God. And in that conversation, I said to God, you know, I know you don't leave me, but I turn my back on you, and I'm not even sure where this is going to go from here. I'm not making any promises, but I can say that if you bring one woman, that I can take her hand, because nobody took mine, and say you don't have to do this, that you have options. I can forgive myself. I believe with all my heart that there might be 600 Planned Parenthoods out there, but 200 Obria medical clinics in the right locations where God puts them. Because let me tell you, we're not marketing. God is bringing them. I didn't meet John. Somehow you found us. I'm not sure. But he called. In other words, I believe with all my heart. No, I know by 2020, we are going to win this battle. And that's how Marjorie ended. She says, with boots on the ground medical clinics, which are hard. It's hard to do this. It's hard to raise money. It's hard to do this. But if we do it, I believe this and this alone will change the culture back to a culture of life.
Right to Life also has a very active social media presence on Facebook, Twitter, and even Instagram. And we would encourage all of you to follow us on these various social media outlets. If you're interested in having us come to your parish, I'd really encourage you to get in touch with us at 559-229-2229. Thank you so much, and God bless.